Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. So Lynn Ngugi is always issuing disclaimers about not being a therapist, but I think she should allow people to call her an honorary one. That's because whenever somebody sits on her yellow sofa, they always end up spilling beans about their lives. So the reason I'm saying this is because recently Tatiana Karanja got to do a sit down with her. If you don't know her, she goes by the name Mama Olive on her Instagram handle, and I think her personal YouTube channel. So she was just basically talking about her life, talked about how she was brought up. She talked about how her parents split up when she was young. But then the thing that really stood out to me was the fact that she broke up with her baby daddy yet again. So let's hear about how it came to be that they broke up again, and then I'll come back with my commentary.
A lot of people that will be tuning in, you said you're able to be authentic with your conversation, which make
Yeah.
people want to open more with
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
But we woke up again one day, and you have this beautiful family with your
Yeah.
ex-partner.
Yeah.
And man, I don't know what is it with us and couple goals,
I
because
know.
it was so beautiful. And then to hear that's no more, it
Yeah.
broke a lot of people's hearts.
Yeah.
And of course, what I love is you're very respectable about this situation.
Thank
So
you.
is it something that you saw coming? Is it something that caught you off guard?
Yeah.
And is it that you really wanted a family? And also back to your family growing up
Yeah.
and coming from a broken home,
Yeah.
I saw that if you're coming from a broken home, you really want your family to work out,
Yes.
because you don't
Yeah.
want to have to go through the brokenness that was
Yeah.
there when you were growing up. So how, in your own words and what you're comfortable in, could you take us through that phase?
I mean, I think I did definitely saw it coming at the point where when we ended things, because yeah, we've been going through things for the past 6, 7 years, however long we've been together. So I definitely saw it coming. And in fact, the time that it happened, I had been through heartbreak before in this relationship, and the time that it happened, I think my body was just so ready that I didn't actually go through heartbreak. I didn't go through that. Yeah, I didn't go through that. So it was a great way to kind of get over that relationship because I wasn't going through something so tough. And but yeah, I definitely did stay a lot longer because I wanted my kids to be in one happy family. And it's really hard when you have kids involved because you're just thinking like, but am I going to ruin their lives? How are they going to grow up without XYZ? Are they going to grow up hurting because of this? Like, I'm hurting my kids. But you come to the realization that if you don't put yourself first, you're also like a shell of the mother or the person that you can be in that relationship.
Yeah.
And what's worse, for them to have this mom who's doing their best, being their best selves, being the best mom they can be, or to just have that shell of a mom in a relationship just to keep it together, not to hurt them. So I really had to make like a conscious effort to just finally end it. And I'm happy with where we are today, and I am just doing the best that I can for my kids.
That
Yeah.
you can, but
Yeah.
allow me just to touch on this, because you go into a relationship with someone 3 kids later on,
Yeah.
and you're like, this is the love of my life, right?
Yeah.
And then you look back, 1 plus 1 is not 2.
Yeah.
Would you say you should have taken time to know this person better, or is
Before
there
having kids.
before having the
Yeah.
babies?
I definitely. I mean, I would if you want kids in life, there are so many things you should do before you get into a serious relationship. I mean, these are discussions you should have early on because it's very hard firstly to have these difficult conversations when you're already like in love, you're living together, and then you're now starting to have these conversations. You realize, wait, you want to do what? Like, you want to discipline my kids
Yes.
how, or you want to, whatever the conversations might be. I think these are so important to have early on, especially if you're going to have kids. And if that's your end goal, these conversations need to be had immediately so you're on the same page. Because
Yeah.
once you have kids, it is so hard. Apparently, the first year of having a child is like the hardest on a relationship. It will test you in a lot of ways. There's a new person in town. All your energy, your love, everything is going onto this one person.
Yes.
Your relationship is really taking a hit.
Yeah.
You have to be very intentional with your relationship. So you definitely have to be on the same page before you get into a serious relationship with somebody if
Yeah.
you want kids.
Yeah.
I would definitely suggest that. However, having said that, I know a lot of people who have been on the same page, but having kids changes you in a lot of ways. You grow. You're forced to grow in so many ways, and if you're not ready for that, yeah, it's going to be a bit tough, you know. There's a lot of work to be done. I think couples counseling is really important. Being able to take time for yourselves, being able to set date nights and things like that to make sure that your relationship stays strong is really important. So yeah, I would definitely suggest doing a lot of work before that. Yeah.
And lastly, because I don't want to dwell in this conversation, but you also posted that it's been hard for you doing this as a single mom, you know. And the question I saw people asking is the dad not present to help you out with some chores or some duty or some, like, is there no support coming in for you?
No, unfortunately not. You know, the thing that I want to say is, like, there's so much support coming from my family and even his family.
Yes.
So, but let's even just talk about my dad firstly. Like, he is.
Oh, I love her, because you were like texting your dad before we started, and like, let me just text my dad.
Yeah.
I'm in an interview, so guys, if you need something, and you talk so highly of your dad, you know.
My family is amazing.
Yeah.
My family is truly amazing. They would drop anything to, if I'm in a situation where I need my kids to be helped with something, they'll drop it. They'll drop anything. However, having said that, you know, my dad has been like MVP. I don't know how to say it. Like, he's literally there every day for my kids. So he really steps up for me in ways like, if I need them to be taken to school, like when they were in school, or if I need them to go to the dance class, he's there.
Yes.
If I helping me with homeschooling, he's there. So he's there for everything. I think more so it's in those times where I'm just like, there's no one who can understand what you're going through apart from somebody who's going through the exact same thing.
Yes.
And that's where I'm just like, I'm so angry sometimes, because I'm like, generally I'm fine and I'm happy with where that I've chosen to be a single mom, you know. But there are those moments where I'm sick, 3 kids are sick, we're all spending night, we're all in bed together, everyone is sick, calling my name. I'm
Okay, I know you're wondering why a breakup is something I'll discuss about, but it's because I remember they did an interview in 2020 on Ebro TV, and on that interview they sounded so loved up. So let's just listen to what they had to say, because that was like the first interview they did as a couple. So on that interview they were so in love. Let's see what they had to say.
I'm in real estate, and I've been with Tatiana for 5 years.
Yeah, I'm Tatiana, and I am a photographer by profession, but I also blog about motherhood and my motherhood journey and just life in general. So we have a new YouTube channel that is literally all about us, where we talk about relationship stuff, where we view, we show a lot of our lifestyle with our kids and, you know, the kind of activities we get up to. So please subscribe to our channel. Our YouTube channel is called All About Us, and also our Instagram is Mama Olive K and Wayne the Family Man, if you want to know more. So yeah, thank you. Yeah, we've been together 5 years.
5 years?
Five years.
If you've
Before that, I had just gotten back from university in the Netherlands, and I had just started working for about a year as a photographer, had finished some internships, and then I started working on my own as a photographer. So life wasn't really that serious before Wayne. I was kind of still just figuring it all out, like party life, all of that kind of stuff. And then
I think very similar to Tats. I had just finished university, and I came here on a holiday. I came to visit my parents, and I'd gone to their recommitment of vows ceremony. They were having a ceremony to basically say they still love each other. They've been together for a very long time. And at that party, Tatiana walked in, and that's 5 years ago, and 2 kids later.
So we met, and Wayne asked me to a concert, and I wasn't able to make it, but I think we started dating a few times, and then at one point Wayne asked me, you know, like, are you like, are we dating? And I was like, yes. And then that was the end of it. And I think that was like our 4th date or something like that. And to be honest, we didn't really we clicked very well, but things happened really fast in our relationship. We had kids after like 6 months of knowing each other, so we didn't really have time to build like on our relationship per se. Yeah, I mean, it just happened really quickly. And for me, it was just as soon as we kind of had our first date, I already knew, like, you know, this was gonna be a thing.
Thanks, babe. So the story, from my memory, the way it goes is I'd invited Tats to a concert. I'd met her at my parents' party. I invited her to a concert. She said she couldn't come. So I made another plan quickly in my head and I invited her for lunch. And I said, let's get sushi.
Tokyo, yeah.
Tokyo for sushi. So I took her to get sushi and then I didn't return you home for what, 3 days?
3 days.
Yeah, so it kind of, that was it was all planned. But it was a 3-date first date.
Yeah. Firstly, just look at him. Like, obviously, like, when I saw him, I was like, this guy's the one. Honestly, when I was growing up, I always wanted, like, my description of my perfect man was just how Wayne looks. So already from there, that was like, but I think at the beginning of our relationship, we were having so much fun and we were both on that same page. But behind that, I mean, I just feel like Wayne is really understanding and like very open to different situations, which I really like. Also like well-traveled, which I really like. He's like, you know, he doesn't have, what I mean by well-traveled is the fact that I'm also very open and very liberal with a lot of ideas about life. And I like the fact that he's the same way. And he's not very judgmental, which I also really like. And he's kind. And the best thing about him is he's a really good cook. And I love my food. So that's one of the best things. Yeah.
Nice. I think for me, it would have been... Okay, I'll answer honestly. When you walked into that party, I was already like, wow, who is that girl? And I'd already sort of set my eyes on maybe getting to know you a bit better. So during the course of that day, I remember Tatiana going to eat, and that really impressed me because when she went to eat, she wasn't shy. She didn't like, oh, where's the food? She just went and put a big plate of food. And then she asked for chili. Now, when she was given chili, she was just given a whole green chili without it being cut or anything. The way she ate it, she just grabbed it and ate it and continued to eat. And when I saw that, I said, this is the one. This one is like me.
And it's so funny, like during that whole party, he just wasn't even smiling at me or anything. And I kept smiling. And I was like, why aren't you even acknowledging me? Because you know, I'm the kind of person who's like, when I walk in somewhere, I'll smile at somebody, say hi. And every time I would just try and look his way or something, he'd just be very serious and not looking at me. And I'm just like, well, okay, it's not very friendly.
I was playing very hard to get.
Okay, so you hear how they were so loved up, which is why I'm very surprised that things have gotten to where they are now. So I also remember they had a channel, I think it was called All About Us. It was just about the whole family and their daily lives. So they did another video around the same time talking about their life. But on that video, they were answering questions that fans had posed to them. So I want you to listen to how committed they sounded.
It's like everybody asked that question. Did we break up? And yeah, I guess what I want to say to that is I think it was quite public in 2018 when we like split up. But you know, firstly, we were really young when we got together, and before we even had time to spend enough time together, we got pregnant.
Correct.
I mean, like within 6 months or something.
Yeah, within 6 months of meeting each other. Yeah, I'm a fast mover. When I see something good, I acquire it.
Yeah, so I think just having not enough time spent with each other, and then adding this newborn baby to the mix, and then again, we're young, trying to make it out there in the world. We have stress of like just finding work and just, you know, paying. for some reason we left our parents' house and went into this our own place. So we're now trying to pay rent. We have a new baby on the way. Like life was pretty stressful, and I think
to add a little bit to that, I was working quite a high stress job, and the hours were crazy. So the hours I was operating in, it was in the let's call it the nightlife industry. So I would always be out at nighttime, and I would be coming home at weird hours and stuff like that, and it was all to do with work. And that's not ideal for a family and a family situation.
Yeah, I think, so I think we needed that. We spent some time apart, and we really needed that just to regroup and, realize that we do want nothing else but this family to work out, and we have never been happier. In my eyes, I've never been happier. And yeah, so fast forward, it's over, we're together. Like that was just like a blip.
Yes, exactly. And these things happen, and I'm sure a lot of you will relate to that happening in your own relationships and such. But what I can tell you is, if you do love somebody, never give up. Don't stop fighting for that love. Just because you fought over something or something has happened, if you truly love someone, you can always fix it. You can always fix that problem. Yeah. And that's something that took me and Mama Olive some time. I mean, we would butt heads at small issues, and we didn't have the right strategies of how to go about dealing with it. So we would just fight, as opposed to like, okay, how about you go away for 20 minutes, I go away for 20 minutes, and we both think about each other's perspective, then come back, and then we move forward from there.
Yeah, we've definitely grown in that aspect a lot. Our community.
Okay, so you see how it seemed like things were working out fine for them. So Lynn talked to Tatiana about other aspects of her life, not just her relationship. So she spoke about how her parents' split up affected her, because she noticed when she was in prep school, she used to be a bully. So when she underwent therapy, she could trace that back to her parents splitting up. But then it's something that she worked on. And the other thing she talked about is how she's relating with the baby daddy. And unfortunately, you've had the baby daddy is not communicating at the moment, and he's not even helping out with his parental responsibilities. So she was asked about why she's not bashing the guy online, because their life was splattered all over social media. And she said she restrains herself from doing that because she doesn't want her kids to get hurt eventually, which is a very mature thing to do, because we've seen a lot of couples, whenever a couple splits up, they always have very unflattering things to say about each other on social media. So I give her a pat on the back for restraining herself from bad mouthing the man. So the other thing she was asked was if she has healed from the breakup, and she actually confirmed she has healed, and she kind of knew by the time they were breaking up that their relationship had run its course, which is so sad because it seems like they broke up just before she gave birth to their third child. And then the other thing that they talked about is about the critics online, which she said she knows how to handle because she's developed thick skin. The only time that she really gets affected by negative comments on social media is if people come after her children, which is understandable because a lot of mothers are very protective of their children. Then the other thing that came to light is the fact that she's got some Ethiopian blood in her. I was very surprised to find out about that because I always assumed she's biracial, as in she was a mixture of a Kenyan and some European blood. But she actually has a bit of Dutch in her. But her mother, I think, has some Eritrean blood, or she's fully Eritrean. Then She was also asked if she's ashamed that she never fought for her relationship, but she said she doesn't believe in staying in a toxic relationship, even if it's for the sake of the kids, because she believes children deserve a happy mother. So if the mother is not happy, I mean, it's like you're doing your children a disservice. So the other thing that really stood out is the fact that she said she wasn't going to put up with any bullshit from the guy. I don't know what the guy did, because you can see from the videos from 2020, they were so loved up. It seemed like they were ready to fight for their relationship. But this time round, Wayne must have done something so egregious. Or maybe it's Olive who is at fault, but I mean, Mama Olive who is at fault, but it's only God who knows what really happened between them. All in all, as usual, because they were under the list of hashtag couples goals, it seems like there's another lesson to be learned here, because all that glitters is not gold, because Mama Olive and Wayne used to be called couple goals because they used to post a lot of lovey-dovey photos on their social media accounts. And then there are a lot of questions have arisen about why they split up. And I'm wondering if it could be because Tatiana is too independent, because you can see from the videos I've just played, there's a place where she was asked about how they manage their finances, and she said they used to split their bills, but that's something she has had to learn how to do because she's super independent. Then the other thing that stood out is on that video from Ebru, when she discovered she was pregnant the first time, she told Wayne she was going to keep the baby whether he was in or out. So you see, from that, you can sense that whatever Wayne's thoughts were about the whole pregnancy and what have you didn't matter. It's like whatever Tatiana had decided to do is what they were going to follow. So another thing I'm wondering is if the third baby could have injected a lot of friction in their relationship, because on that video from their All About Us channel, you can see when people asked them if they were going to add more kids, they said they had finished having children. But that time they had two daughters, that's Olive and Mali. So because they swore they were only going to have two kids, maybe when Tatiana got pregnant the third time, that is in 2022, it was too much for Wayne to bear. And unfortunately, before the third born was delivered, they had already split up. So I don't know whether Wayne has even met this third child, because on one of, I think she told Lynn, Olive usually asks about the father, because Olive bonded with him because he was present when she was a baby. As for Mali, who is 4 or slightly older than 4, asks for him, but not as much as Olive. But the last born, that is Nova, should be 1 year old or less than, slightly older than 1 year old, but less than 2 years old. That one doesn't even know who the father is. So, and she's still young, so we don't really know if she knows what her father is. So The other thing is maybe Wayne was not mature enough. Maybe his finances were not in good shape, because I think on that Ibro video, he said something about quitting his job to follow Olive to Nairobi. So I don't know whether he ever replaced his source of income, or if whatever source of income he got after quitting his job, I don't know whether that source of income was reliable enough, because as we know, money causes friction in relationships if there isn't enough of it to take care of a family. Then the other thing we need to ask ourselves is, if Wayne intended to have a long-term relationship with Tatiana, maybe all he wanted was just to have a girlfriend, but because Tatiana got pregnant like 6 months after they started dating, they had to force themselves to live like man and wife. So I hope Wayne has not abandoned his family. I hope wherever he is, he's just clearing his mind, because from what Olive said, he's not in the country. So I don't know whether he's decided to emigrate out of Kenya, or if he's just decided to go traveling around the world and then he'll end up back in Kenya. So whatever it is, I hope he reconnects with his daughters before it's too late. Otherwise, the kids are going to resent him. And if he decides to reconnect with them, especially if he waits until they're over 10 years old, it's going to be very hard. And it's unfair for the children to miss out on parental love, and especially if the parent can't be present. So I wish them well anyway. I hope he comes back, and I hope they have a peaceful co-parenting situation, because when Mama Olive was asked if she would allow him back into their lives, she said that's something she was willing to do, which is good. Put your differences aside and just think about the children's welfare, because if the father is able to be in their lives and he's not harming them in any way, I don't see why he shouldn't participate in their lives. So we wish them well. So this reminds me of my other videos which I've done about young men getting into serious relationships. It actually reinforces my sentiment. Most young men are not ready for serious relationships. So I hope most ladies will learn from this. Like, if you want a family, the best person to be talking to should be a man who is marriage minded, as in he's mature mentally, emotionally, and has finances in place to kickstart a life as a head of a family. So I don't have more to add on to this. Just let me know what you think in the comment section below. I'm going to link the lengthy videos at the bottom as well. Like and share this video. If you're not subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so to help my channel grow. Thank you for stopping by, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.